Okay, there's one you can jump around to this thing called Mandrake Root. Oh! God bless you. Thank you. We can very quickly do one more very short one. I think we can get it in here for just about all the time. All right then. Huh. Yeah! Come on!
you. Richie Blackmore on the guitar. All right. We've got a couple of others in the band. We've got Ian Pace on the drums. Ian Pace on the drums. We've got Roger Glover on the bass. Roger Glover on the bass. Hide him. Take him away. Okay. Sets her aflame. I got the fire, baby. Yeah. I got a Mandrake Root and feed it to my baby. She's closed down. She's closed right down. I got the bomb, baby. Slide him off.
Hello, this is Jon Lord of Deep Purple. I guess the easiest way to start is to say how I was approached. Phone call to a drunk, hungover organist without a gig to come to a party, and I went to this party. Met a guy called Chris Curtis, who used to be the drummer of the Searchers, and he was going to form a band called Roundabout. Wonderful name. Which and he said he had a guitarist called Richie Blackmore that I'd heard of, and who'd sort of left England, gone to live in Hamburg, and would I care to join in? Right? I said no. You know, I was hanging fire for another gig, and he kept phoning me, and eventually I said all right, and I got together with Richie. I was knocked out with the kind of thing he was playing, so we agreed, and then Chris started to get it all together, and we had contracts which we were supposed to be going to sign and all sorts of things, and everything looked great, and we had a manager. And Curtis changed his mind, disappeared into the wild blue yonder, leaving me and Richie sort of high and dry. Richie back from Hamburg, where he hadn't really wanted to leave in the first place, and me having missed the phone call that I was waiting for. And then the guy who was going to put the bread up for the band under Curtis's thing phoned me up and said, no, I got it wrong. He sent me a telegram. I was in Germany at the time. I was backing the Flower Pot Men, which is a part of my history that I like to keep quiet. And I got a telegram, you know, come back to England immediately. You know, it's all happening. And the guys, you know, had liked what Richie and I were talking about and was willing to put the bread up. So that's really how we started the band. Richie had heard Ian Pace play in Hamburg, and he contacted him. The guy, it was amazing. It was like a fairy tale for me at the time. You know, he hired a farmhouse just outside London and put us in there and said, right, you know, hold auditions for singers and bass players, and it was amazing, you know, to find that kind of help. So we went into we were put into a recording studio. And told to make an album. We were given 24 hours. That's how it was in those days. It was so we did everything we'd been rehearsing, made an album out of it. We did it in 24 hours. The mixing took, well, if you listen back to Shades of Deep Purple, which was the album, it took about 9 minutes, I think. So and we weren't allowed to even touch it, you know. And on that album was our version of Joe South's song called Hush, which was our first success in America.
Ian Gillan.
In the later days of episode 6, I was offered the job and had a telephone call, and someone said, a friend of mine at the other end of the line said, there's this band called Deep Purple which is forming, and they're looking for a singer, and I recommended you, and you know, they've heard you and would like you to take the job. Would you like to go along and meet them? And I said, no, thank you very much. I'm very happy with episode 6 at the time. So anyway, Deep Purple, I followed their progress quite carefully after that, having had the offer anyway. And they rocketed to success in America with Hush and Kentucky Woman and all this sort of thing. And all the albums, you know, Shades of Deep Purple and everything, were doing phenomenally well. And I was a bit cheesed off, obviously, having turned it down. But it was strange, really, because just at the time when I decided actually to part with episode 6, I had another telephone call saying, well, Deep Purple are just, their singer and bass player are just leaving. Would you like to reconsider your decision? And I said, oh, yes, please.
Jon Lord.
One day, just before Ian and Roger joined, well, a few months before, and my manager was saying, you know, what have you got up your sleeve? Anything you'd like to do that we could get together that's really sort of unusual and different and would be fun to do? Excuse me. And I said, yeah, as it happens, there is. I'd love to write a piece of music for group and orchestra. And he looked a bit old-fashioned at me, and he said, really? I said, yeah, I'd love to. He said, would it work? I said, I don't know. He said, have you ever written for an orchestra before? I said, no, I haven't. He said, do you think you could? I said, yeah. So I did. And he said, well, go ahead and write it. And I was writing away at it, you know, like off and on. Just one day he phoned up. He said, September the 27th. I said, what? He said, the Albert Hall, the Royal Philharmonic, and you. And it was a giant success, you know. The Albert Hall was sold out, and we weren't, like, Deep Purple was hardly known at all then in this country, in England. You know, but somehow the publicity was done very well on it, and the Albert Hall was full, 5,500 people, and there was a 15-minute ovation at the end. Everyone loved it. Critics murdered it, said it was naive, and which it was, and meaningless, which it wasn't, and pretentious, which it also wasn't. They totally missed the point, most of them. I'm talking about the straight daily newspaper critics, you know. The music business critics got the point, which was enjoyment and fun and something a bit different, you know. And they liked it, and the audience liked it, and the album sold very nicely. We weren't really at all sure about releasing the concerto album, you know, the in-concert album. We recorded it live because it would have been nice for a memento anyway, had it not been, and it had to be recorded for the film soundtrack anyway. Then we listened back to it, and the quality was good, you know. So we did put it out, and it received, you know, quite a lot of publicity, and it sold fairly well. But then all of a sudden we found that through our first 3 albums, which we always used to make the mistake in those days of, like, oh, we're making an album, lads, and you get album mania, and you start doing things that you wouldn't do on stage. A lot of groups make this mistake, and you tend to get a certain loss of identity between your stage performances and your recorded albums. Then this concerto came out, and everyone thought, well, what are they into, you know? And there was a lot of confusion, not only in the minds of the public, but in our own minds, you know. We had little internal difficulties about this, that, and the other, you know. And so we finally said, right, we're going to make an album which, once and for all, is going to say what Deep Purple have always been on stage, and always will be, you know, within reason. An album which will be our stage act, which will be totally and completely us, as we've always been and always wanted to be. And to that end, we set ourselves these very strict sort of lines between which we would write the music for Deep Purple in rock. But I think the best song on it, and probably the best song to this date that we've written, is Child in Time. It's certainly one of the most popular things we've ever done, you know, on stage, you know. But one of the standout tracks to me is a thing called Hard Loving Man, which I love because it's utterly mad. It's like, it's the most violent thing we've ever put on record, for me, you know, and yet it's very controlled. I mean, the violence is controlled. I like it also because of the way we recorded it. We recorded it, like, quote, live, unquote, in the studio. We didn't dub any solos, or I think we just dubbed one thing. But we just set ourselves up in the studio as we would on stage and just went bang, you know. I think it was recorded in 2 takes. Well, we were in the studio between Deep Purple and Rock and Fireball, just laying down some tracks, you know, to see what was happening. And while we were there, our manager rang up and said, EMI have informed us that we need a single, because in our contract with EMI there is 1 single a year I think we have to put out, whether we want to or not. So there you go. So can you do a single? Put the phone down, you know. Oh, can you do a single? Yeah, sure, yeah, we'll write a million seller any day. Yes. So we put our heads together and came up with precisely nothing. After about 8 hours we had nothing, just useless ideas. So we went out to the pub around the corner from the studio, had a few beers, you know, got laughing and joking, and Richie and I were sitting there just drinking our beer, and he suddenly said, hey, what about, I've just thought of a little riff. And I said, okay, go ahead. And he sang it to me. I thought, oh, that sounds good. Really, it just came out, you know. And I said, quick, let's get back down there. So he and I just went back and left the other boys drinking. And we worked on this thing, and we found we got something quite reasonable. And the drummer and the bass player came back down, left the singer boozed out of his mind in the pub. And I think within half an hour we had the backing track down of Black Knight. You know, it was one of those things that by not thinking about it and by not trying, it just came together. And Ian came back down and said, oh, I like that, that's great. Went in and I think he wrote the lyrics are pretty banal. I think he wrote the lyrics in about 3 minutes flat, and there we were, and we took it to EMI and they flipped.